Let me get on this mic and tell a little story of how people can be and how people are. Am I on? Can you hear me? Let me tell you something. Man. So, I was at work yesterday. Um, Day like normal, you know what I mean? Filled with bullshit and drama. As long as I'm getting the money, I shouldn't, worry about it or whatever. That's cool. I'm really upset because we're not getting raises and all that we're supposed to get and that we deserve. It's not the point of this conversation. I'm just trying to let you in on some of the things in my head, as we're having the conversation. Being through management after management, talking about stuff, including being in trouble because of productivity. When the managers themselves are not even listening or paying attention to us. Well, that's in every job. It's not. It's in every job because you're working for somebody else. Let me tell you about a person that wants to be my mentor, wants to mentor me. I wrote something on Facebook, which I'm gonna put this on Facebook as well as, and I'm glad that I was able to record a longer video. I gotta keep on cleaning my phone now. That way, I have space to record long videos. Because I talk long anyway. So I was talking to a manager, and this guy he seems to want to mentor me. He thinks he can give me a better what is he said? I want to say aspect, which is what it all boils down to, but he used the words better look on things in life, and a life, not in life. He said that after he said this word, and I forget the word. I'm gonna say it in a few minutes, but for reason of time, I'm gonna keep on going. So he says, he wants to mentor me. Now, we've been into it before because he's not listening to me. He'd rather tell me how to do stuff, when to do it, and how much of it to do it. He's not listening. He's not a good listener at all. Now, it's been more than I who have told him that, but he seems to listen to the other ones more than me. I guess because I'm so much more peaceful and calm and, controlling about my ways or whatever. The times that he cannot control me, times that my rage and anger comes through, is the times that I end up in the office. It's a story not really about me. It's a lesson here. So let me go ahead and tell the part, because I've told you the background of us. We've been into it, whatever. So let me go ahead and tell the story now. So yesterday, I was in a truck. I'm a truck unloader. I don't like it because back at one time, the truck unloaders, they just unloaded the truck, and that was it. Maybe helped do something else, helped. In today's reality, the truck unloader unloads the truck. They stock the freight. They are responsible for going to any ends and every end that they're asked to go to or do or whatever. So they're given a whole lot more responsibility and task, and they're supposed to complete it just like that. And they're supposed to give 1,000. We no longer say 100. You're supposed to give 1,000%. Nobody's gonna be at 1,000 or 100 every day. Nobody's gonna be at their best every day. It's impossible. You're human, and if you say that you are at your best every day, you're a damn lie. Call it like I see it. Say what I know. You're living your best life. I brought that up too, by the way. Living your best life. You can't live your best life every day, but you can. How can you? Because even in your sickness, you can give it your best, but it's not your best that you did the other day or the day before that. And if you're not sick, you're still not going to give your best because you might give a little less today or a little more today. You know, it's just not going to be the same. We're subjected to changes. I use Dallas Cowboys for an example, but that's not good. Um, so anyway, this manager and I was in the truck, unloading the truck or whatever, and he thought he'd go ahead and school me. And yes, he's old school too. He's a type of guy that we would call school, but I don't really call the elderly school like that. I never caught on to, fashionable words and fashionable statements and stuff. I only say things to my kids, especially my daughter, because I laugh at it. It just be so funny, some of the things that we said. But he tried to go ahead and school me on some things. He gave me the background. First sentence is, you think I have to work. Obviously, I already knew you didn't have to work, but I went ahead and put it out there. No, I know you probably most likely don't have to work. This is just a retirement for you, and you didn't feel like being at the house not doing nothing. I mean, I already know that. We don't have to go through this. Plus, you already told us that you don't have to work. Okay, you're an old man. You don't have to work. We understand that. You don't have to keep on telling us that. Just like you're trying to be flamboyant and throw your lifestyle in our face. Like, you got a motorcycle. Like, you got the best thing that he was talking about was his successful kids. Those are your successors. Those are your legacies. They will carry on whatever you taught them and whatever you instilled in them, like you're trying to instill in me, is what he said. They will take that further than, saying what you've taken it or whatever. Now, hopefully, they won't do everything like you said, everything that you've done. They'll do something different. That's what I'm saying, how they'll establish their legacy, you know. Um, I even tell my kids, don't do everything just because I say it or because your parents say, and don't follow like that. Don't do that. Don't be no follower. You can't be a leader. Don't be a follower. Stand alone by yourself. You know. So anyway, yeah, he thought he'd give me a lesson. So he told me how he didn't know nothing about the food, and basically he came there to be somebody, and well, he didn't say to be somebody. He basically trying to say that he was somebody before he got there. They grabbed him because they saw his background. Um, he'd been in the military, and also that he was an expert in electrician or whatever, which is where he need to be actually. But let's continue. Um, he gave me all that background, and then he was telling me about how he living a lavish life or whatever. He got this and that, he pool tables and all this other stuff, a lot of stuff. And what it all boils down to in my head, I'm back there thinking while he telling the story, I'm thinking, well, you know what? Some of that had to have come from your previous jobs, as well as your kids helping. You have a successful family, it sounds like, so you're able to do that. So you really couldn't talk to me too much and get me to understand too much, because you don't know what it's like to live in a one bedroom apartment like I do and pay $600 and something dollars when you're only getting 600, 500 to 600 anyway, every 2 weeks. And you still got to eat. You still got to pay your electric. You know what I'm saying? You really can't really talk to me right now about all that. Not unless you've been there. Now, you can talk to me about that, which you don't want to talk about that. You rather throw the successful part. Then you got to tell me how you got to that success. And if you're telling me that you've been through A, B, and C, but you didn't want to take it no further because they didn't want to move you up, so you packed your stuff. Somebody give you an offer, you packed your stuff, and you came somewhere else after you took the bag. What do they call that? Oh, damn, I forgot professionally. The package. That's what they call it. So after you took the package deal, then somebody gave you an offer, and after you, oh no, then somebody gave you an offer, and you took the package deal later on, but you kind of wish that you would have taken that offer. That's what the part of that was. But the moral of that story, the whole story he was telling me, was about striving for the best, because our conversation started when he started criticizing me for the umpteenth time about putting stuff on a conveyor belt. I'm trying to get out of here. You want us to do it at a certain time. I'm trying to meet I'm not trying to meet your time because I know that's impossible. We've never met a 4 o'clock deadline getting in there at 2 o'clock. And I don't know a truck unloader that has been in my little timeline unloading trucks. I've only been unloading trucks for ever since I've been at this Walmart. I guess about a little over 2 years. No, a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years. I didn't really want to do this, no way. So I'm not really interested in unloading. Plus, all the extraness that comes with it is just too much, too stressful. And I've told the other manager that, who's over him, and although she agrees, she still got me walking on pins and needles, everything. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so yeah, he thought he'd school me on how you strive for the best and you never give up. Because I told him after he was criticizing me about the conveyor belt, I was like, "You're a perfectionist, aren't you? You know, you want everything perfect. You know, and you can't have everything perfect all the time. And part of you living and being perfect is to understand that the perfect way for you is not always perfect for somebody else. And not only that, but um, striving for perfection, you never do stop striving for it, but you have to realize at one point, no, you're not listening. No, I hear you. Always try to get the best, but there comes a point in time where you have to accept whatever you can take or whatever you can get, which might be less of the perfection that you're trying to get until you can get to that perfection point. No, I never sell my stuff short. I never do this, never do that. You're not supposed to do that. That's what they instilled in us. That's what they gave us. Who is they? You know who I'm talking about. No, what they gave us is that poison that you spitting right now, where we tear each other down. That's what they gave us. Now it went on to become something like us selling for the best. You know, I mean, settling for something. You're not supposed to settle for anything. But if they gave their best, they gave their best. You know what's their best. They know what's their best. If you've seen them at their best and they're not doing their best, now you can push them that like that. But come on. But anyway, all of that went to shorthand, and it just so happened that in the trailer, I can't even use an example, basically, because I mean I'll be putting things in front of the camera. All right, so anyway, I had a pallet right here, and there was freight on either side of that pallet. Okay, that's a pallet is like uh, things that's stacked on top of things, and I don't even know how to describe it. But anyway, so I had two things on the side of this one item that I needed to move. I asked him to move it. Well, I asked after I got so far down, I kept on going because I knew what he was gonna say. So I went ahead and kept on moving the stuff around it. And then once I got to a certain point, I said, "Hey, do you want to move this out?" No. Okay. Do you want me to start breaking it down, basically taking the stuff off of that and putting it on the conveyor belt? No. And then his thought was that we were just gonna both get on each side of it and go from there. Well, that only worked for so long, and then he still ended up having to move the pallet out the way. Same thing that we've been through another time before. Only this time it really had to move because it was in the center instead of on one of the sides, left or right. You see, if you want to be a good leader, you have to be a good listener also. You have to listen to your people. You cannot be a leader if you don't want to be, if you don't want to hear anything, if you don't want to listen. Don't be a follower. Don't be easily taken by the people that you're listening to. But how can you say that, or convey something as a leader and you're not a listener? So you want to instill in me a different aspect on whether it's work life or actual life or overall, both sides of it. I don't think you have what it takes to give me anything. Now you might want to talk, you might talk about your successful kids, but I don't believe that you were part of that success of them. I believe that they had the willpower to do it themselves, but you did put something in them along with their mother. Maybe I don't know the whole story of why you're single or whether their mother was in their life or they had others in their life. I'm sure they did though, because with that kind of negativity, that poison that you're spitting, I'm sure they needed something else or somebody else. So listen, I even went as far as to saying, giving an example, we talked about, I say, well, going back to the electric thing, because it's what you said, going back to electric, my parents had said, my foster mom, foster dad, which I basically call mom and dad, they had told me, well, my mom anyway, had told me at one time, Ricky, you should be an electrician or whatever, or the type of person that fix on, uh, I'm sorry, got this thing going. Fixing on, stuff, because I get on the back of a TV and I do the damn thing. I get in a VCR, I do the damn thing. I don't know what I was doing, but I do it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work all the time, but it worked sometimes. And tell him that. And then when I got to this part, is when things really fell apart, and I stopped listening to him, and I realized that he's just poisonous. So I say, it's just like, what I'm saying, you saying always strive for the best. I've always strive for the best. I always try to do the best. Never accepted, just mediocre or whatever. I was mad one time when I saw that I could have got a goddamn 6 point grade point average. I was so close to it. I was so close to it. It was like 8, 9 something, 5.899 something like that. I was so close. Oh man, then I took another year and then I tried it again to get to that and I didn't make it. But I'm saying, yeah. So I'm not the type of person that just settle for anything or mediocre unless I've given it my best and I cannot get there. Then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna try this again. Okay. After 3 times, I kind of don't give up, but I do. Let me show you. So anyway, in that ranking of me fooling around with the TVs and stuff, it's just like when I fool around with the bikes. Uh, we used to fool around with the bikes or whatever, fixing the bikes or whatever. So I'd get irritated, and my irritation is fuel for my continuous action. Like I keep on going back to it. I'm determined. I'm more determined every time I get irritated. So anyway, I get irritated and frustrated, and then I leave it alone, and I'd come back to it on another day or another time. Oh, see, that's not striving for perfection. What? What? Now that was poisonous. So you're gonna tell me I'm not successful in my striving for perfection? It's not striving for perfection because I left it alone and came back to it. I didn't give up. I simply saved that fight for another day. And my success was assured. Well, not always, but my success came, sometime after the next fight. You can't win everything in the first battle, in the first fight. It's a long, outstanding battle. You can't win it, and you're not going to win it in the first battle. So when he said that, I kind of stopped listening to him. Now let me tell you something else that happened. It's not related to that. But that is the poison that we have within us in our black people. That is the poison. And then we want to point out everything else but that. But anyway, next thing is that, now this is a black guy. Now, he does stand for a lot of good things now, but that was just poisonous. So you can't possibly teach me talking about we need to hang out. No, we don't. You can't teach me nothing because you just cut me down right there. No, you can't. There's nothing you can teach me. You don't even want to listen to me. So there was our manager who's over him is Hispanic. Can you explain to me why yesterday I was told to count the stuff and put it in the bin? Basically put it in the back room. Count the product and put it in the back room. So I was getting ready to do that and told him when I come back I need a printer and a scanner. So explain to me why the printer and the scanner was both on the floor and I had to end up picking them up when she knew that she had just dropped them and she could have picked them up. I picked them up because I needed them. I picked first the scanner looked like she was trying to throw it up under the thing to me, get it to where I was on the other side. Cause we're on different sides of what they call steels, basically a wall that's housing different products or whatever. So yeah, I'm putting it in the steel, and I noticed that the printer drops, and I was like, when I noticed it was closer to her side than my side, I went over there and got it because I'm like, well, maybe she just couldn't, get it right then or something. I made some stupid ass excuse in my head up for it, but then when she said, and the printer is right there, I mean the scanners right there. I thought I was like when I saw where it was, I was like, man, ain't you gonna go get it for me? So I count that as disrespect. That's like the second time something stupid like that has happened, but I blew it off. And yeah, I'm not gonna address that, but I'm sure as hell gonna move forward from there. She just lost a little bit of my respect just then, just like he has lost a little bit of my respect by saying what he said. You cannot measure nobody's point of success by your point of success and what you do. You know, everybody's on the same journey, going different paths. Even in your religion, you cannot measure my faith by your faith or your accomplishments, your level of spirituality by mine. We're all on the same journey, different paths. Be careful what y'all say. Be careful how y'all treat each other. It was a long ass video, but it needed to be said.